Coming up next on We Are Marshall Today, Marshall University marks its 173rd commencement. We'll have the story.
Plus, what is this machine and how does it affect you? We'll have the details on this story and other Marshall news up next on We Are Marshall Today. Hello and welcome to We Are Marshall Today. I'm Dan Hollis.
And I'm Leah Edwards. The tests are finished and the final grades are in for the nearly 1,400 students who graduated from Marshall earlier this month.
And Leah, Marshall's annual spring commencement is always an exciting time of year. They entered the arena as students and exited as Marshall University graduates. About 700 students walked the stage in early May, shaking hands with President Stephen Kopp and receiving greetings from the Alumni Association. Amid the pomp and circumstance of the traditional ceremony, though, there was still time for the new graduates to reflect on their collegiate careers.
Today is one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. It's been a long time coming, but after getting these tests over with and this year flew by, it was actually good to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, it's just another step to get to where I want to be. I'm getting my master's in history today. Hopefully I go on to law school after this.
Journalism graduate Whitney Hunter is looking for the future also, but in a somewhat different way. Her husband James has been serving in Iraq as she finished her degree in Huntington. Despite their separation by thousands of miles, she says they've accomplished their goals together.
He's actually going to be watching the graduation through the live feed today. So it's difficult at times to get through classes and everything, but in the end it's definitely worth it, and he helps me get through it.
Marshall University journalism graduate Sean Caleb served as this year's commencement speaker. He graduated in 1983 and currently works for CNN as a correspondent. Caleb has traveled the world reporting the news and says never once has he doubted his Marshall University education.
But it's a great institution. It laid the foundation for everything I think I did in my entire life, and it's grown so much. I mean, I'm so proud of this institution, so proud of coming from West Virginia. I love talking about Marshall. I love coming back here. To me, it's like the fountain of youth. I'm no longer a near 50-year-old stocky guy. I'm once again an 18-year-old gangly kid with my whole future in front of me.
Caleb's was presented with the John Marshall Medal for Civic Responsibility, which is given to individuals who exemplify John Marshall's dedication to civic affairs. We now welcome Ella Kuratomi to the show. Ella is the Assistant Director of Recruitment here at Marshall. Ella, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and the Office of Recruitment here.
Well, I'm a Marshall graduate. I graduated from Marshall in 2003 with a degree in Public Relations from the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. I went away for about 3 years to Pennsylvania, did a few things there, and then decided to come back to Huntington. We actually started here as a recruiter in the admissions office, so I was actually traveling out recruiting. And then for about a year now, I've been the Assistant Director in the recruitment office.
Well, we just saw a story about graduation, and we know that I guess a university life is a never-ending circle. We just saw graduation, and we're already working on the next group of students to come in. Talk a little bit about the challenges that are associated with that idea.
Sure. We're always thinking ahead in recruitment, and it's always important to be thinking about the next class. We just recruited the graduating high school class of 2010. We're getting them registered for orientation, which starts in June. And we just started revamping our publications to start taking out with us in the fall for the class of 2011. What that means for recruitment is that we're always busy. As I said, we're always thinking ahead, and really there's no downtime for us in recruitment.
Well, let's talk about recruitment from a couple of different perspectives. First, from the student point of view. What should a student think about when they're thinking about higher education?
Well, they want to think about, and this is something that we talk about in recruitment a lot, a good fit. We want students to find a fit in a college or university. Of course, we think Marshall is a great fit for us and for a lot of students, but you want to talk to the student about the size of the university. You want to talk to them about what they're looking for in a university. Do they want large classes? Do they want small classes? Do we have the programs that they're looking for? We tell them that it's never too early to start looking at colleges. We actually have groups of middle school students coming on to campus. We talk to them about what they need to prepare for in high school, that their grades count from their freshman year to their senior year. Then really in their junior year, we encourage them to start visiting campuses. We give campus tours at Marshall every day, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock from the Welcome Center, also at 1 p.m. on Friday. So we do an hour presentation about Marshall University and what we have to offer, and then we take them on an hour-long campus tour. Then in their senior year, they start the application process. They really need to start thinking about that. The summer before their senior year is a good time to start taking the ACT or the SAT, get those scores sent in to us. They can start applying as early as the fall of their senior year. We really like to see them get those applications in. So.
Are there forms they need to fill out? Are there classes they need to take in high school?
Well, there are classes that we recommend they take in high school. The requirements to get into Marshall, they do need to have an ACT or an SAT score, fill out an application. Their transcripts need to be sent in from their high school. There's an application fee, and proof of immunization, which is something that all public schools require. And then for their financial aid, they do have to start thinking about that after January 1st. They have to fill out the FAFSA, which is their free application for federal student aid, and that goes to our financial aid office. And those are the main forms and applications that they need to apply to Marshall University.
And are there classes in their high schools?
We like to see students have a certain number of English classes, math classes, foreign language requirement, but those are, if they don't have all of those classes coming in, they can take them, they can make them up once they get to Marshall within their first 60 hours, but we do like to see them have those coming out of high school.
Okay, now let's talk about from the parents' point of view. Sure. What should parents be thinking about?
Parents are often looking at different things than students, of course. Parents, most are concerned about how they're going to pay for higher education. So we talk to parents a lot about how affordable Marshall University is, not just for in-state students, but also for out-of-state students. We talk to parents a lot about scholarship opportunities. We have a lot of great scholarships here, not just for in-state students, but also for out-of-state students. Parents are also often concerned about safety, because they are sending their students off, you know, maybe for the first time away from home. And so they want to know about how safe our campus is, and that's something that we definitely emphasize to parents about how safe Marshall University is.
And now finally from the university's perspective.
Sure.
What is the university looking for in a student, in a potential student?
Well, we like to see students that obviously have done well in high school, that are going to be good students here at Marshall. Students that are enthusiastic. Marshall students often are students that are looking for a larger university, a mid-sized university with a smaller school feel, which is what we think we offer here at Marshall, because we keep our classes so small. You know, the average class, 20 to 30 people. Students that are looking for stadium-sized classrooms, they're obviously not going to find that here. So we look for students who are looking for that kind of family atmosphere.
The university is certainly putting a lot of attention on recruiting students.
Sure.
Why is that important? And where do we get our students from?
Sure. Recruitment has become a big emphasis here at the university, not just this university, but universities all over the country. Because those are, you know, new students are the future of the university. They're going to be our current students, and they'll eventually become our alumni. So we want to make sure that we're getting the best and the brightest. We recruit in a lot of different areas. Obviously, in-state, in West Virginia, we do a lot of recruitment. We have 5 recruiters on staff at in the recruitment office, and I myself have a recruitment territory as well. Each of those recruiters is responsible for a portion of West Virginia, and then each of them have a border state, and that's where we do a lot of our out-of-state recruitment: Ohio, Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and we're doing a lot of recruitment in those areas. We do send recruiters to larger fairs in New York, New Jersey, and Florida for the kind of further out of state, but mainly we're focusing on our border states right now.
Well, let's talk about this fall.
Sure.
What do the numbers look like for the incoming class?
Right now, and knock on wood, they are looking very good for the incoming class. We had an increase in enrolled students last year. We wanted to obviously increase that this year, and so far it looks like we're going to be up for the coming fall. So we're starting now. The recruitment office doesn't just do recruitment, we also do orientation, which is what we're gearing up for right now. And the orientation numbers look very good, which is a better indicator of how many students we'll have in the fall. And we have a lot of students signing up for orientation.
Well, thank you, Ella, for being here. Stay with us, folks, for more We Are Marshall Today, right after this.
Trying to annoy each other, kill the time, kill the boredom. My company's downsizing. I thought it'd be in my best interest to go back to school. With as busy as I am, commuting was not going to be an option. But with MU Online, I can take classes anywhere.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
A joint effort between Marshall University and West Virginia's Department of Energy has researchers busy with wind analysis. Marshall's Center for Environmental, Geotechnical, and Applied Sciences and the West Virginia's Brownfields Assistance Center here at Marshall are working to assess wind movement at surface mine properties in the state. Program Coordinator George Carrico says the equipment used for the testing is quite unique.
Currently, this is the first one that we know of here in the state. There are some other units in the region, but this is a very new type of technology that's being utilized for the wind industry. This technology is used at a lot of our larger airports, but for a different reason. They're looking at wind speeds for aircraft landing and so forth. This is specifically looking at it for wind power potential resources.
The wind analysis testing will be useful in determining future alternative energy sources across West Virginia. Economic development is not just about energy sources and jobs. In this case, it's about fun. The state of West Virginia will once again host the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 1 Championship this summer. Opening ceremonies are scheduled for Thursday, July 1st at the Joan C. Edwards Stadium. Last year's event drew about 10,000 soccer players and their families to the Huntington-Charleston area. Approximately 2,000 people stayed on Marshall's Huntington campus, with thousands more around the region.
If you're looking for a hands-on activity for your children to enjoy, look no further than downtown Huntington in June. Organizers, including Marshall University art educators, are planning the 3rd annual Children's Art Festival Extravaganza, or Cafe.
Marshall has been wonderful for this event. We have volunteers from the communications office and the art department that get us volunteers for our event. They volunteer for the entire time for 4 hours, and they run our art stations, and they also do any kind of other things that we might need.
The event is sponsored by the Huntington Chamber of Commerce's Downtown Live Committee in conjunction with Marshall University. It's scheduled for Saturday, June 12th from 11 until 2. There will be an art sale, children's activities, face painting, and a few other activities. The Marshall University community has a new place to grab a cup of coffee or a snack. Starbucks has opened a new store in the Memorial Student Center, and they did that earlier this spring. The entrance to the store is located on the campus side of the Student Center. Other campus locations serving Starbucks products are at the Drinko Library, Smith Hall, and MU Campus Express in Holderby Hall.
Marshall University's Joan C. Edwards School of Medicine marked its annual investiture earlier this month with 63 students graduating as physicians.
This was the 30th class to graduate, and there was plenty to celebrate. 8 years after graduating from high school, these men and women will now be called doctors. Graduating physician Andrea Loffer says she's been focused on this goal for nearly a decade.
I've dreamed of this moment since I was 17 years old. That was the age I decided to become a doctor. And I think it'll just be a very surreal moment in realizing that that hard work pays off and perseverance pays off. And I just think coming to know that this is the end will be a magnificent feeling within itself.
Loffer and fellow graduating physician Sarah Flaherty agree that though the years have been tough and overwhelming, the end results are worth it.
All of our classmates really had excellent residency placements all over the country. East, west, north, south, at excellent programs. Vast majority of us got our first choice, so it's just a huge testament to the great quality of education that we get here at Marshall. And the more doctors we can educate, the better.
This year's graduating medical school students have landed dozens of residencies across the country, but you couldn't find anyone more happy than David Franke, who chose Marshall for his medical residency.
I'm from West Virginia originally, and I think that Marshall offers Marshall's internal medicine program is a great opportunity. I was really thankful that I had the opportunity to stay. The attendings are great, the residents are great, and I really look forward to starting.
This year's graduating class is Marshall's largest yet, and as such, the graduation was in the Keith Albee Performing Arts Center. Joining us now to talk more about the medical school is our Dean of Marshall School of Medicine, Dr. Charles McKown. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
The school just graduated its 30th class. What a ride, I guess. You've been around for most of those graduations. Give our audience a quick synopsis of the medical school in the last 30 years.
Well, medicine itself has changed a great deal, and of course, when medicine changes, medical education has to change. So our curriculum has changed, the way we present our curriculum has changed, and perhaps most dramatically and apparent to most people would be that the physical plant that we've worked in has changed. We started in the old C&O hospital building, then the medical education building, which was contiguous with the Veterans Administration. And you recall we were created through an act of Congress that I think it was called the Veterans Administration Medical School Assistance and Health Manpower Act. And that was a great help. And then now we have additional physical buildings. We have our clinic building on the Cabell Huntington Hospital campus, a clinical building and an educational building at the old Fairfield football site. We have other departments in medicine. The forensic building is also on the Fairfield site, and then the biotech building with the connector to the science building on 3rd Avenue here. So the physical presence of the school has changed, and we like to feel that the quality of medicine that we've delivered, which is part of the education process, you have to be able to have the education to support good clinical services, has been a stimulus to our 2 hospitals. If you look at Cabell Huntington Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital, those medical centers have grown tremendously in their physical plant. So all in all, our school is different intrinsically with the educational process, the services we deliver, and physically with our plant, it's different.
Our school is known to be a community-based medical school. What exactly does that mean?
That means we utilize the community hospitals. Now we do have outreach programs that go to hospitals outside our immediate community, but principally we're talking about utilizing Cabell Huntington Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital, and the Veterans Administration Hospital. Now those go by medical centers now, which is an appropriate terminology. But we use those hospital facilities and do not own our own hospital. That has been a trend nationally in a number of places, but there are other institutions traditionally that own their own hospital. We've had wonderful cooperation from all 3 institutions, and it's been, I think, a practical success for us. And there are about 24 or 5 schools in the United States that totally depend on that. There are 125 med schools for many years. Now there are 130, and there's some others developing. But, and some of the newer ones will be community-based too. Those formed when we were formed were all community-based. That was University of South Carolina, East Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Wright State.
You do have some longevity. You've been with the medical school since its inception. As I understand, I think you're the longest serving dean of an American medical school. Is that still current?
That's true. And that trend is changing. At one time, I think the average tenure was 4.5 years or so. But at this particular point, a lot of them are longer serving, and they're finding that they're really achieving a great deal more success with a little more service. So often in those roles, there are many, I won't call them responsibilities, but there were just many events surrounding the administration of a medical school. Some are opportunities, some are threats, what have you. Fortunately, in our community, we've had wonderful support from the community, the university, and the state as a community, that the opportunities are there, and exercising the right moves to benefit from those opportunities often requires that you stay in place for a while. I've been extremely fortunate to be surrounded by wonderful faculty, wonderful administration. I coach the team, they play very well.
Let's take it down to a cellular level, if you will, and,
sure.
and tell me what a student in high school or college might be thinking about as they go through their undergraduate, if they think they want to go to medical school? What type of student is successful in medical school?
Very difficult to predict. You can't say only a certain type will be successful, but there's certainly some benefit in those students that do well in the science courses. I think high school physics, high school math, algebra, geometry, and now calculus will be an asset. Biology, and certainly as they move to college, some of the advanced biology courses will be helpful. You can take histology, you can take anatomy courses, and even biochemistry courses in college now. But you have to be somewhat science-oriented. That's not unique. You can't say, well, you can flip it and say, yes, if you're only focused, unduly focused, just on science, the art of medicine, the deductive reasoning, the altruistic humanitarianism, that's a little bit different, but it comes with it. But you need the science foundation really to build on. So if you have trouble with science courses, probably a different career would be advisable. And taking that just one step, and this will probably be the last question, but those students then come to medical school, you have 65, you have more than 65 students in a class now, We have
right?
75 now. 64 graduated this year.
Okay.
We've incrementally increased our size in response to a national demand and a statewide demand, anticipating the needs for the next decade. But we do it gently. We have to make sure that we have the facilities, the faculty, and the services available for the proper education. We can't overdrive our headlights. But we'll probably stay at 75, which I think is a good number. We have a wonderful benefit in our student performances on national examinations. And we take the same exams as Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and what have you. And our performance has been just outstanding. And we feel that the ratio of our faculty to our relatively small size has been extremely beneficial. By and large, our students have enjoyed being in medical school. And there are some other places where students and even doctors today will tell you med school was painful. Here we have a great deal of loyalty because it's gratifying. I hate to say, I can't say that it's fun, but I will say that it is extremely gratifying and they enjoyed it.
All right. We appreciate you being here today. You have done a great job. Your leadership is fantastic at the medical school, and I know that the entire community appreciates you and what you've done there.
Well, you're very kind. I hope all my faculty feels that way. I can't get them all parking spaces.
Thanks for being here. And before we go to the break today, let's meet another member of the Marshall University alumni family. Randall Clifford graduated from Marshall University in 1970 and again in 1972 with his master's degree in counseling. He currently lives in Milton, West Virginia. After working for decades in the mental health field, Mr. Clifford opened his own counseling practice in 2006. Randall Clifford, another member of the Thundering Herd, spreading the word about the herd.
From the classroom straight to your computer.
I teach international marketing online 100%. I conduct this class from my office, from my home, and it is 24/7 available to students across the country. I would say this has been one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences, not only for me, for my students as well.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
They have been busy with classes, projects, and finals, much like every other student here at Marshall University.
Yes, but Leah, there's one important difference. These students have been preparing to be officers in the United States Army. Let's take a look.
We are conducting a commissioning ceremony for 5 of our cadets who are commissioning as second lieutenants in the United States Army. It's a minimum of 2 years, the advanced course at the university. In addition to their regular classwork, they take the ROTC military science classwork, the MS-300 and MS-400 classes. There's a physical training regimen 3 times a week that they underwent, as well as between their junior and senior year, they went to the leadership development and assessment course at Fort Lewis, Washington. They are either going on active duty as a second lieutenant and departing to a duty station or a school, a military professional development school here in the next 3 to 6 months, or they're going to commission into the National Guard or Army Reserve based upon what they wanted to do and what their selection was. We're looking at agile, adaptive leaders. That's what we're trying to develop. And they're presented with challenges, not only physical challenges, but mental challenges as well, that they have to organize their thoughts, solve the problem, and then put the problem or the process into action. We have 5 outstanding individuals that have put in a lot of work and effort to achieve what they've achieved. And this is merely a milestone of what they're about to achieve. They've demonstrated the potential to do that, and I think we're here to honor them and their service and their commitment to service. This program's been here since the mid-50s, and we get a lot of support from our alumni. Past graduates of the program are always interested in what's going on with the program, and I think it's going to be here for a long time to come.
Certainly a great achievement, Leah.
Absolutely.
That's all for this edition of We Are Marshall Today. I'm Dan Hollis.
And I'm Leah Edwards. We leave you with a look at Marshall's 2010 commencement. Thank you for watching.
At Marshall University, you can get all the information and resources you need right at your fingertips, from schedules to flexible courses to friendly student resources. From the MyMU portal, you can search for classes to fit your needs, register, and even pay tuition, all with the click of a button. But that's not all you can do within MyMU. MyMU also provides a list of key resources for students. Convenient and affordable, MU Online offers a variety of class choices to fit your needs. Access e-courses or supplemental materials from MU Online. MU Online also offers virtual classrooms where you can participate in class from any location with an internet connection. At Marshall University, we make information, resources, and service a priority. Through MyMU and MU Online, you have all the resources you need right at your fingertips.